So, hi. What I want to speak to you today mostly about is channels and some changes that we've got coming up for channels. I think you've seen some examples already from Ruben today. I was just wondering how many of you look after channels now for advertisers? Show hands. Yeah, that's cool. Is that kind of basic channels? Have you done custom gadgets where you have an iframe area and you create a bespoke experience? Cool. Who else has heard of Cosmic Panda? Has anybody heard of Cosmic Panda? Yeah, great. So Cosmic Panda is something that you can opt into at the moment. It's a new interface that we're trying out for YouTube and has been going for since July this year. So at the moment it's an experiment, it's opted in, but we're about to roll out the channel side of things, which will have an impact on you from an advertiser's perspective. So very quickly, what we're going to run through today is kind of why we're doing it, why YouTube's evolving and why the interface is changing. We'll do a quick run through the new features of the brand channels and then how that impacts you from an advertiser perspective, how we'll do the migration and what's going to happen very soon. So YouTube. YouTube has been a bit of a consumer phenomenon. We've gone through some stats already, but from 2005 when we launched to now, we've benefited a lot from technology advances such as broadband penetration, increased video recording devices, and now we're kind of looking at what the next stage is for YouTube. We're to leverage what we've already got from an amazing a base to start. So I think Ruben's touched on this very quickly already. We started off, the original broadcast model has been sort of 4 channels. Everybody's, this is a US focused one, but 4 channels. Then we opened up to cable and there were hundreds of channels, maybe thousands of channels, all based on different types of content that interests that people had. So that was great. And then the barriers lifted even more and we now have hundreds of thousands of channels. And YouTube is set up for channels. We've got lots of channel content on there already. But what we need to do now is leverage these channels which may already be on YouTube are around people looking at sort of single videos at the moment. And we've got all these channels on YouTube. We need to know how to get those channels to be an experience where people stay longer and have more of a destination to watch lots of videos in a channel sort of focus rather than just single videos. Now we're going to talk about what the updates are to channels. So we've got, as we say, we've got brand channels on YouTube already. Lots of channels lots of brands are taking advantage of the channel setup. And you've probably all gone through this yourselves where you set up channels for your advertisers, you customize them to a certain extent, and then you measure and learn. So if we move now onto Cosmic Panda, so I say we've had an experiment running already, which is across channels, but also across watch pages. We're now ready to move into the channel update for advertisers. And anybody who's opted into Cosmic Panda already will have seen this. So clean, brand new interface. And I'll quickly run through some of the features on this. If you can't hear me, I'll shout. So one thing that you might notice straight away is we've got this kind of black bar along the top here. And if you look closely, there's some tabs as well. So these are 3 different views on one channel, all controlled by the tabs. And your tabs, you can default and decide which one of these views is more appropriate for the content that you've got on your advertisers' channels. We range from 2 tabs there, so that you can switch some of them off, all the way up to 4 tabs. And the 4th tab is your custom tab, which will be where you have your custom experience, things like iframe areas and things like that. So that does exist, it's just not on these slides at the moment, and I'll talk about that more in a minute. To run through this very quickly, we've got here a feed view. This is a great view for two types of content actually. One is if you have a lot of content, you can post your content onto this feed, and this will continually update with the most recent at the top. Or if you don't have a lot of content, but you still want a rich experience for your users when they come in to your channel, you can achieve that through liking other people's videos, commenting on other people's videos, etc. And it will pull through anything that you think is relevant for your advertiser. Will pull through into that sort of hub. So you've always got a rich experience for somebody who comes back to your channels. The good thing about that as well is if anybody likes your videos, that will also post onto their feed. The next one along is the featured tab. It's probably the most similar to what you are aware of already from current channels. It's got a video there, it's got some more content underneath, and we'll go into that in more detail in a minute. And the final one here is all videos. All videos is a collection of all the videos that either you have owned on your channel, or you've commented on, or you've set up playlists with. So the new design, going back to the feed example here, we've got visual elements that are consistent across the site. So we'll touch on watch pages in a minute as well, and you'll see that there is a continuity between the whole site. There's also going to be some changes made to the homepage as well, but there'll be a consistency that your user won't really know as much as they do now that they're on a channel. I think channels at the moment stand out for kind of like a bit of a sore thumb, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, and have a kind of stark difference between the watch page. With this visual consistency, users, when they come to YouTube, will be able to just consume content in a way that's easy for them. So whether that is watching playlists on watch pages or moving around channels, they'll be able to. They'll have that consistency, so that they won't be able to. So that they won't feel like they're moving around too much. Talked quickly about the banner that sits along the top here. That now houses all your key metrics for campaigns. So you've got videos there, video views, channel views, and aggregated video views. And that's great, because before that was kind of tucked away. And I think that's kind of the first thing when a user comes to your channel. They want to know what you've got on there, what kind of content you've got on there, how popular it's been. And that information is right there at the top of the page for people to see now. We've also got a bar down the right-hand side, which you can use for branding. So it's got kind of related channels on there. It's got your feeds it's got your connectivity to Facebook and Google Plus and Twitter and other brand sites and things like that. So it's a ever-present bar across your channel that has that information in it. The feed we've talked about already. You show activities based on what users are interested in viewing. You can comment and like on people's other videos, and that'll pull onto your feed. But we also give you the control as well. If you don't want to post certain activities, or you don't want, moving on, comments that people have put on your channel to show up, kind of in the same way that we've got now, you've got that control to do that. Videos is a great view if you've got lots of great video content, or you've got playlists that you've set up. It gives the user a lot of choice in how they cut down and really drill down into your different video content. You've got all the choices down the left-hand side with the filters, and then on the top right you've got ways of sorting the information as well, from most recent, most popular. Playlists is something, again, if you're working with your video and curating content, if you get someone to start watching your playlist, they then through to a whole seamless experience of watching one video after the next and have a longer, deeper experience on YouTube and on your channel. So the featured tab, this is probably the most customizable area for your channel. If you wanted to default to a featured tab, you've got, as we said already, the video navigator there. That's actually optional. You can turn that off if you want, but it is kind of the most familiar and similar to what we've already got in the current channels format. And then we offer sort of 4 templates after that in the ways that you want to display your content. So this one here is actually a blogger template, which has your main featured video, so maybe the latest TV spot or campaign video that you've got, and underneath some big rich thumbnails around which in recent chronological order show you the latest things that you're either posting or commenting on. So it's a great template for somebody who's updating content quite a lot. But there are other templates as well. just want to touch on the network template, which might be interesting for somebody who's got a global brand. So you've got a sort of kind of parent brand, and then underneath that you've got different brands which are attributed to the parent, and it's ways of cross-promoting your content on the one channel. Branding, we've got branding options, I'm sure you're aware, as in the current channels versions, and this is just reiterating the sort of similar ways that continuity has been brought over into the new interface. So you've got a background image, channel banner at the top. You're able to put in external links and image map that to link out to things like your brand site, and your avatar, which is your kind of profile picture, which will display anywhere across YouTube whenever you comment on a video or do something on behalf of the channel. Onto the custom tab. So we haven't spoken about this yet, and anybody who's run a custom campaign on YouTube will see maybe that this is a slightly different size gadget space, but don't be alarmed because we've actually got a full screen gadget as well. And the main things that you get from the custom tab are, well, quite a lot of control actually. So you're able to call it whatever you like. You can default that tab to be the main tab that somebody arrives at when they come to your channel, so you give them that custom experience. You can also set up a vanity URL, so you can have that on your offline material as well to deep link straight into this experience. And finally, I just want to touch on watch pages. Watch pages will be changing as well in the same sort of timeline as the advertiser pages and the channel pages. This watch page is kind of a little bit similar to what we've got already. It's not massive changes, but you'll notice there's kind of a grey background going on, and there's a bit of a treatment gone on buttons, and all a bit of a cleaner interface. That is actually going to change for 100% of users very, very soon. And that's nothing that the custom channels can control at all. So you'll see all users will see this, and you'll see this yourself. And then when it comes to the channels, the advertiser will be able to choose in the next few months whether they stay in the current format or they move over to this new interface and experiment with the different templates and the tabs and whichever version of the channels 3 they think is best for them. So just to run through that timeline. We're now almost December, Q4. So in the next few weeks, we're going to see a rollout to Channels 3 for advertisers. As I say, it's an opt-in process for the next 3 months until March next year, when there'll be a 100% forced migration over to the channels, the new channel interface. So you've got a bit of time to play around. You'll see when we launch that you log into your channel, and it'll give you a step-by-step guide on how to move over to the new channels interface, but then also give you that option to switch back if it's not for you straight away. So it'll give you a bit of time to play around, experiment, and there's a bit of a checklist here of things that you probably need to have a look at from the current interface, moving over to the new channels, choosing the tabs that suit you best, choosing the template for the featured tab if you want to go with the featured tab. Custom tab, if you've got a gadget already on your channel, we'll move that straight over, that's fine, but there may be a little bit of a realignment that needs to happen because the specs have changed from 960 to 970. Sort out your default landing page. That includes, if you want to have a custom tab, what the name of the tab is, and whether it's going to be have a vanity URL that will deep link into that tab. And look at promoting it for the next few months now. You can either, an idea is if you're running a new campaign between now and March, maybe you want to try it out in Channels 3, or wait until March when it's the forced migration over. But you have that time now to make your changes, experiment, and get in touch if you've got any questions. Hey.
I have a question. So you are saying that if we have existing channel, we
Yep.
will be forced to make another design and migrate to another.
So the forced migration will be in March. So you've got between now and then you've got 3 months to change it. There's that last checklist. There's only a few things that you need to really bear in mind. To go into a little bit more detail, at the moment we have a background image and then a channel banner. That's now all going to sit as one banner, as one background image, and then you'll choose in your admin to push the channel down however high that channel banner will be, which is a lot easier than the way it currently is at the moment, where it's a bit of a workaround and you have to upload transparent PNGs and things like that.
So even if we want to stay with existing design,
Yeah.
it will not, it will not be possible, right?
If you can, you stay in the existing design. From a branding perspective, there's a couple of tweaks that you need to do to make it look exactly the same in Channels 3 from a branding perspective. But they're not huge. Like I say, that background image is one example. Channels 2, you can stay in that current version until March if you don't want to opt into the new version. But everybody will be starting to move over in the next few months, so it's a decision up to you whether you want to move forward with it or stay until the last possible moment when there will be the forced migration in March. Okay. Hi.
So at the migration timeline, it was mentioned that the public beta starts in fourth quarter 2011 or 12?
It's 2000. It's now. It's in the next few weeks. Yeah.
Because it was.
I think it's.
That is 2012.
Just then, I think it's a winter 2012.
And as a question.
Q quarter. It's an American terminology thing. Yes.
Gadgets, both standard and widescreen.
Yes.
Will they be available for all the users or only for the paid channels?
It's the same as before. So it's for advertiser channels with a certain media spend and campaign that's running on YouTube. So yeah, not for users, for upgraded channels. So yeah, guys, mimicry. So there's a couple of things on that. So first of all, you saw the watch page is slightly different, and that watch page is just an update to the watch page. If you log into Cosmic Panda, you'll see that the watch page, you're right there, watch pages in Cosmic Panda are even more different than the ones that you've just seen them. And that is still part of the experiment. They're still working on watch pages, working out how you can get the best user experience to view as many videos as possible. But yeah, watch pages will look different to the current mimicries that you've got running. The second thing is you've got now in Channels 3, that bar running along the top and the iframe sitting under it. That means that mimicries aren't going to look very realistic if they sit underneath that black bar because they don't look, there is no black bar on a watch page. So creatively is a bit of a constraint. We will move in the future, not at the moment, we've got a bit of a freeze on mimicries, to include mimicries of channels. So all the different templates that you've seen there, you can experiment with how you can mimic those elements of the page and move those around, and that will be the way that mimicries are going. So no more watch page mimicries, but channels will be okay. And then anybody who's got a watch page mimicry running at the moment, you probably want to stay in Channels 2 for the while so that you don't have the black bar along the top. So we'll be able to keep you in, there's another date for you, but we'll be able to keep you in Channels 2 until June, end of June next year, if you've already got a watch page mimicry running.